So I'm back here, and what I'm going to do now in this video is I'm going to work on the front entrance a little bit here. As you can see, it's pretty much incomplete, so let's go ahead and work on that. Let me go ahead and hide some of this stuff that's getting in my way. I'm going to go ahead and take maybe I'll take this right here. I'll definitely take the Windows blueprint and maybe those stairs right there. I don't need that right now. So I'll take those things, I'll select them, and in the quad menu I'll hide that selection. Okay. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to take these polygons, or this polygon I should say. We're going to delete that, get rid of it. Now I have some extra edges right here that I don't really need. So what I'm going to do is go to edge mode. I'm going to select this edge here and control select that edge down there. And what I'm going to do is over here in the modify or the command panel, I'm going to hit loop. That's going to select that loop of edges right there. And I'm going to hold down control, hit backspace to get rid of that. And you notice that it creates a triangulation error here. As you can see, this polygon is being triangulated incorrectly by 3ds Max. That's very easy to fix. We had a similar problem that occurred over here. I believe it was on this polygon, and we fixed it manually. Now we're going to look at an automatic tool that allows us to do that a little bit quicker and easier, and works very well in most cases. Not all, but most. So here's the polygon. What I'll do is select the polygon. In the Graphite Modeling Tools, I'm going to go over to the triangulation menu, and you can see we only have 3 options. The one I want to use is retriangulate. So I'll go ahead and click on that, and you notice that it instantly fixes the problem for me. Okay, so that was the only problem with that polygon, was the triangulation was wrong. Okay, so let me come in here and let me go to edge mode, select that edge right there. And I can see that I need to follow the blueprint here on the ground. So what I'll do is I'll just extrude the edge as usual, hold down shift and move it. Okay. Now I'll select the blueprint, and I'll select the segment right there, that edge of the blueprint, by hitting 2 on the keyboard and then selecting it. And if I activate the move tool, I can see down here in the lower part of the interface the X, Y, and Z transforms, but that's getting kind of cumbersome. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the transform type in tool instead. Hit F12 on the keyboard. That's going to open up the move transform type in window, and basically it's this same information that's down here in the lower part of the interface, but it's available to you in this free floating window. You can drag around all over the place. You can minimize it, close it, whatever you want to do. Okay, so here's my absolute world coordinates right now. The X is 10 feet 6 inches. So I'm just going to take that value, hit Control C to copy it. Then I'm going to come back and select my my actual house here. And for the X coordinate, I'll paste that number, which was 10 feet 6 inches, hit enter. And now that edge is going to be exactly where this edge is down here on the blueprint, which is what I want. Okay. Now we need to create that that kind of geometry over here on the left side as well. Okay, so if I select this edge and I move it, I can see that I only have one continuous edge right there. I'll hit Control Z to undo that. What I want to do is break it up and make a vertex so it matches up with the blueprint right there in that corner. So with the edge selected, I'll go up to the Graphite Modeling Tools. Let me go to Edges. Down here, Insert Vertices, make sure it's set to 1. Just click on Insert Vertices one time. Okay. Now you should be in vertex mode. If you're not, go ahead and go into vertex mode, and you can see we have this new vertex right there we've created. So I'll take that vertex, and I'm going to use the snap tool. I'm going to snap it to this vertex over here on the blueprint. And it actually didn't do a very good job right there, so let me go back. And the snapping tools in 3ds Max can be a little bit clunky at times. Okay, there we go, got it. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this new little edge there in the corner. I'm going to extrude that. Oh, got to make sure I take snaps off. S is the shortcut key on the keyboard, by the way, to turn snaps on and off. Alright, what I want to do is I want to take that edge right there, and I'm probably going to move that to about 7 feet. Let me go over here to my blueprint and background over there. And I believe that the front doorway entrance is this rectangle right here. It's a little bit hard to see. Yeah, it's 8.5 feet, 7 feet right there. I believe it's this one. Let's go ahead and do it 7 feet. If anything, we can always adjust that later in case we get it wrong. So let me take that, and over here in the type in tool, I'm going to type in 7 feet for the z-axis. Okay, pretty good. Now what I want to do is I want to create a little division here that I'm going to be able to extrude from at 7 feet. So I'm going to take this edge and that edge right there. That's these two. I'm going to right click. I'm going to connect them. And using the transform type in tool, I'm going to put 7 feet because it automatically placed it at 10 feet, which is no good. Okay. Let me take this edge right here. I'm going to extrude that one out. I don't really remember what the distance was to this edge. So I'm just going to go ahead and select this edge here and just steal that number. Control C to copy the X transform there. Bring it over here and place it there. Alright, pretty easy, right? Okay, now this part right here, what I'm going to do is maybe take this edge and that edge, extrude them up. I'm just going to take them the full 20 feet. Which is the base height of my ceiling here on the inside. Okay. Now, of course, we do have this problem where this vertex here is loose and we have an open edge. I don't like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to open up the quad menu, hit target weld, and just target weld that loose vertex to that vertex down there on the staircase, and there we go. Now we shouldn't have a problem at all. Okay, so now what I can do is I can build myself a wall that connects from the left over here to the right, and that's actually going to be very easy to do in 3ds Max. I'll select that polygon over there on the right, and then I'll select this polygon over here on the left. And what I can do is simply go up here to the Graphite Modeling Tools, and I'll go to the Polygon menu, and you can see we have this tool called Bridge. So we'll go ahead and click that, and voila. There you go, it bridges those polygons together. Gives us a very nice structure right there. I'm going to delete the polygon that I created on the top. I don't need it. So I'm going to make that one disappear. Now we have our front entrance doorway. At least the hole is punched out right there. Down here, of course, we need to start filling up the bottom here with some polygons. So I'm going to go to edge mode. I'm going to select this edge here, extrude it out, and I'll use the target weld method to go ahead and just put those edges together and fill that gap. There we go. Okay. Now over here what I'm going to do is I need to select this edge from the outside here and then this one. I'm going to extrude and pull those out like this. And I'm going to do the same thing to the other side over here. Extrude those out. Not going to worry about the how much they should be extruded out. Looks like I extruded a couple of extra edges right there. I'll just delete those polygons, that's fine. Okay. Alright, so it looks like the entrance here is almost done. Let me take this edge and extrude it out. What I'll do is I'll select the blueprint, select that segment right there, and take its X transform. And then I'm going to go back to the polygon mesh, take that same edge, and paste that number, which is 12 feet, 12 inches. That way it matches up right there. Okay, so it's perfect. And while I'm at it, I might as well do it to these edges right here. So let me select these edges. And you can see sometimes this happens where I have these edges selected, for example. I'm trying to move, and my absolute world just kind of gets grayed out to 0, 0, 0, 0. Okay? If you have that happen, you can fix that very easily. If you come up here and use the pivot point center tool, you notice that the default for the pivot point is the first option, which is this one right here. There's 3 buttons. There's this top one, the middle one, and bottom one here. The top one is going to use basically the pivot point and place the gizmo at the pivot point of the selection based on what you have selected. In this case, that's not going to work out. So what I'm going to do is use the second option, which allows us to use the selection center. In other words, the transform gizmo will be placed at the center of the entire selection. So watch what happens. When I select the second option, you can see the gizmo moves to the middle of basically all these edges right here. And if it was vertices, it would move to the middle of all the vertices. If it was polygons, it would move to the middle of all the polygons. So basically the common average center of your selection. And now you notice also that now I can type in my values into the transform type in tool. So it's a neat little tip right there for you. In case you run into that problem, you don't start pulling your hair out, you know how to fix that. Okay, so I'm going to take these two edges there since I don't need those. At least at the moment. I'll hit Control and Backspace to get rid of them. Remember to hold down Control when you hit Backspace so you get rid of unnecessary vertices. Okay, so it looks like the entrance there is ready to go. At least for now, it's pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and end this video here. I strongly recommend you save your work so far. If you haven't been doing it, I strongly recommend that you go ahead and do it. You don't want to learn the hard way what happens when you work for hours and you don't save your work. Not fun. Okay, so I'm going to end this video here, and in the next one we're just going to keep chipping away at this building.